Season's greetings from us here at Divine Oracle Podcast. On today's show, Gypsy Lady Eva and Brother Chris will be talking about religion versus spiritual. Join in, sit back, and give a listen. Join us live here right underneath Podbean and YouTube. Alrighty, so hey Gypsy Lady, how's it going?
Hey, hello Brother Chris, excuse me. I'm doing fine, all things considered.
Yes.
I had a nice long nap before this all started, so I'm wide awake, sort of.
So you had a nap, and I was busy cooking. I was busy making that turkey.
So that's what I was getting the whiff of, roast turkey.
Yes.
Yummy, yummy.
Yes, and I actually had cinnamon on it. So this time I did cinnamon, and inside the turkey I put apple. So that way it adds flavor, and then also I put it with actually Pepsi Zero. That's what I did.
Oh, that Pepsi Zero.
So,
Zero.
yes. And here it is for everybody looking at it. It's a 2-liter bottle of Pepsi Zero. Pepsi is not our sponsor, though, unfortunately. Too bad it wasn't. Hey,
that would be great.
So.
I don't think we can afford them, though.
No, unfortunately not. So, but yeah, so
it's $4,000 a second.
It's like God. So yes, for those who actually missed last week's, though, I came to you live with Trevor Bishop, the founder actually of Haunted Live Podcast that's here underneath Podbean, and also with Jillian. We were in the hotel last Saturday, and what took place last Saturday, the reason why we were not on regular schedule, though, is basically because it was my father's funeral. I have never cried so much that day. Started saying something else, and I broke down in tears. But it was a nice small little turnout and a lot of food. But what my father always said, though, is you're not leaving without taking any leftovers. So people did take a lot of leftovers, especially the Queen of Ooga Booga. Yes. So.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
It's like so. But yes, go ahead.
I lost my father. Wow, almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Can't believe it. And yeah, I still cry.
Yeah. That's like gosh.
And that was some funeral. My father he was not one who liked a lot of show.
Yeah.
Type thing. And he was a veteran. He was a Knights of Columbus. And a good friend of mine plays the pipe, said she would practice here on the farm, and he always said, "You're going to pipe me into church." Well, she did. She didn't know if she was going to make it, but she says, "I felt like he was right there with me." He probably was.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a dry eye in the house, let's put it that way. And so there was that, and then out at the cemetery, we had the veterans did something. We had the taps. We had all this stuff. Honor Guard from Selfridge Air Force Base. They do all the service branches. And after it was all done, my friend Ray, good friend of ours, said, I don't believe in taking pictures, but boy, that one should have been videotaped.
Yeah, for myself though, I've lost both parents this year for 2024.
Not a good year.
No, it's not. But yeah, I lost both parents to dementia. And for those who are just wondering check out the Haunted Live podcast page. Go underneath Divine Oracle page itself, like go underneath Haunted Live website. We are raising funds for Canadian Mental Health Association. There's actually 3 in 10 adults though that do receive dementia, which is what my parents had. But they're saying though that dementia is actually going for the younger ages now. It's not only seniors that are getting it, it's younger generation that is starting to get dementia. But yeah, let's help raise a cause for that, so that way there's more research and more funding for it to be actually cured. I know the States, though, unfortunately, you might be living in the States, but try to find out an organization within your area, though, that does need help for funding within the Mental Health Society. there is a
And
large.
there are many.
Yes, there
Many.
there are a lot. We'll be right back after this, and we're going to be talking about religion versus spiritual. So join us right back. Hey everyone, check out our merchandise that we have now listed underneath HauntedLivePodcast.com. We used to be on Etsy, but we found a little bit of troubles with that, so we are now on HauntedLivePodcast.com with our merch store. Check it out. We've got so much items all together with cleansing items and crystals and so much more. Check us out, HauntedLivePodcast.com. Hey everyone, it's Brother Chris here from Divine Oracle Podcast. Join me Mondays as I do readings and I post them right here in the Podbean. It's easy, it's enlightening, and it's your weekly readings. Join me, will you? The Rock Spa. Wonderful location to check out. Check out their website at therockspa.com. Shipping worldwide. So why not check out the Rock Spa at therockspa.com.
Follow us here at Haunted Live. Our new show, we just started doing new shows in November, and we are honored to have a brand new co-host on our shows now. Yolanta Mary is our co-host, and she does a lot of work for us on the side and introduces people to the show and discusses different topics on the show. So we're really happy to have her here this season. So go check out brand new episodes on the post of Haunted Live Podcast.
Alrighty, so yeah, we're going to be talking about religion versus spiritual. A lot of people get these totally messed up, and a lot of people don't fully understand the difference. What I would say though is I've been around certain people, and as soon as I say I'm a spiritual person, they think I'm talking about religion. How about for you?
Oh, ditto. And you know, when we had the COVID epidemic, and a lot of churches basically closed their doors because they didn't want to spread the disease. And since then, church attendance has gone down. And you talk with these people who no longer go to church, and it's like, well, I'm a spiritual person. And it's like, you don't even have a clue. Why are you saying this? And it's like, duh.
Yeah.
I just go, well, okay, and I walk away because I know I'll probably strangle them. But there are a lot of little differences and a lot of big differences between religion and spirituality. Excuse me. And the title of the one article that I'm starting with is Religion versus Spirituality. And I don't think that's the way to say it. I think religion or spirituality.
Yeah.
I think that makes more sense to me.
It does. So some of these are guidelines, and yesterday, right when Gypsy Lady and I were chit-chatting, some of them actually did pop out. And I got Trevor, the founder actually of Podbeam's Haunted Live podcast, actually just to see some of the stuff. And he even said, yeah, it totally makes sense. So the first one, though, that we're going to look at, though, is religion. Worship God. And spiritual, though, is encounter one's with God.
Well, yeah, the whole thing about religion is to worship one God, or God with the small g, and I say it that way because we call it God, or Christians call it God, Jews call it Yahweh, I believe it is. So you go down, Muslims call him Allah, call her Allah, him Allah.
Yeah.
And you get into the pagans, that's even more. But you go around to the main religions around the world, and they do have a one spiritual creator being, whatever the name is, and you worship him. And in spirituality, no, you are encouraged to have a oneness with the God, the creator spirit.
Yeah.
Which goes to the second one, which is religion. Religion says God is outside of you, but spirituality says God is within you, which is one of the things we were going to start the show with. as we always talk about these things, and then it takes a whole different track.
Yeah, it's like
But that's a good way to put it, because when you think about God in a religious context, you are always trying to connect with Him. You are always trying to get to or move towards Him. Whereas, I'm signaling here, whereas with spirituality, God is all around you and He is within you. He is a part of you. Your soul is a part of God.
yeah. Well, I find that one is so true. The response because I'm finding a lot of people though that do go to church and all that think that hey, I'm actually just a separate being away from God. Even though that they say I am with God, right? They're thinking though that they're separate. But the way I read this, though, underneath my interpretation, was though that God lives within inside of us. He brings actually all the glory, everything else within inside of us. I know for us Indigenous, all right, there is a God, but there is also Father Sky and Mother Earth. But there's a higher.
That makes you a pagan.
but there's a higher being actually altogether over top of everything.
The Creator Spirit.
Yes. So our next one, though, I'm going to throw this one over to you.
Well, religion separates people who have different beliefs. In other words, well, I'm a Methodist. Well, I'm a Catholic. I'm a born again Christian, and it's like it sets up these separate, little islands out in the ocean, sort of a thing that says you can't come to my island because you don't have the beliefs that I believe.
Yeah.
But spirituality unites people regardless of their beliefs. It's like, well, you want to worship in say a Muslim way. Okay, that means you go to the temple or not the temple,
Muslim. Yeah.
Their house of worship.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say for you. It's like that's a, but yeah, no, this
mosque.
Yeah.
They go to the mosque on Friday night. They don't do this. They don't do that. But then you talk with your Jewish friends who go to church or go to temple on Saturday night, and they don't do this and they don't do that, and it's different from the Muslims. And then you got your Christians, and they're a whole mess. And like I say, I stick with those three because that's what most people are familiar with. But you get into like the Hindus who have multiple gods or multiple faces of the god.
Yeah.
And they don't do this and they don't do that. You can't do this and you can't do that. You can and you can't. You will and you won't. And damned if you do and damned if you don't.
Yeah. Well, with this stuff there, actually, I was raised up in a Baptist church, Anglican, okay? And they say Anglican Baptists are really, really strict. So I was raised up in the Anglican church. But I've gone to Lutheran church. I've gone to a non-denominational church. Right? I've also gone to a spiritual church. Now the thing though is
nice awakening, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. Spiritual churches are more awakening. Now since I've done different churches before going to spiritual church, basically though is you believe actually in one. It's all the same, but it's taught in different ways. That's exactly what it is.
That leads to the second, or to the counter one in spirituality. It unites people regardless of their beliefs.
Yeah.
Worship as you feel inside of you as you connect with the God being. Because, okay, you say, well, I'm just using this as an example. I'm Jewish, I don't eat pork. That's fine. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
You do it your way, I do it my way. I always say, you may not believe what I believe, but let me believe it. And that's the difference between religion and spirituality. Religion tells you, well, ours is right and yours is wrong. You've got to believe our way. Spirituality says no.
Yeah.
You believe what you believe, but let me believe how I believe.
So, well, the next one though, I love this one, and it's so true, like 100% religion though. You're basically taught to be afraid of. Sorry for saying it, especially on YouTube, which is hell. But aren't we already living in hell already in North America with Canada and the States?
With our president, a new president coming in, also,
and also with Canada with Justin Trudeau and actually Christine Frere. Gosh, but they're saying be afraid of hell, right? And it's so weird though because of that there. Right.
But the second thing, but the counterpoint in spirituality, it teaches you that heaven is on earth.
Yeah.
So as bad as it may be, it's not that bad.
Yeah. It's like, gosh. And the one thing though I was going to say is since we're on this subject, one thing though that us here at Haunted Live Podcast and Divine Oracle Podcast, all right, hell and heaven on earth, right? Basically, though, is it's equal. We do not judge anybody for anything like that at all. We love all, we accept all. Right?
I'm sorry?
So we love all, we accept all.
Yes.
Right?
And that's the basis of a lot of spiritual church.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Come on in.
Yeah. That's like our next one, so which is really good though.
Religion is based on fear and restriction. Spirituality is based on love and freedom. And I think that is one of the big ones because how many times have you had, well, I'm thinking of the Jehovah's Witnesses who knock on the door. And it's like, here's a way to find your way to heaven. And it's like, heaven is here. Why would I want to do that?
Yeah.
We connect with heaven in so many ways that it's, where do you start counting? And instead of the fear and restriction that's found in religion, you go with the spirituality because it's more like love. It's not, you can't let them into your life because they believe in this.
Yeah, and like for me though is if you don't accept people actually into your own life because they're different religion, right? You're judging your own self. I love the old saying though, is if you're gonna point a finger, how many fingers are pointing back at you?
You got it.
Right? And most people don't realize that, and that's one of the oldest sayings. Right? And that's why again though is we say though that here we accept all, we love all. Unless if you do us wrong, that's a different story.
Bad boy.
So, but yes, our next one though is religion. Feels like being a single drop in the ocean, compared to spiritual, which is actually feeling like the entire ocean is a single drop.
I read that one and I thought about. I think it was Men in Black, the end of the movie. You pull out from Earth and you keep pulling out and pulling out and pulling out until you, and they're playing, and it's aliens playing with marbles, and we're in that marble.
Yeah. Men in Black. Men in Black.
It was Men in Black.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it kind of symbolizes it. We don't know how big this universe is.
No.
But we can see the entire universe in a single drop of water, in a single rose petal,
It's like
in a cloud in the sky.
Yep. Well, I love the old saying though that my grandmother always said to me. You know what? You might feel like though that you're one. There are 1,000 people going through the exact same emotions as you.
Yes, you are not alone.
Right. So that there sort of goes with that there. The next one though is religion, based on other experiences, and then spiritual is based on your own personal experience. And this one here is so true.
Yes.
So basically, it was based on others' experience. You're learning from others. You're learning their way, right? But what about yourself? Actually, as a spiritual person, though, you are living actually on your own road. You're living actually on your own life. I love the example. I love the example of a tree.
The tree?
Yeah, a tree. Like you look at a tree with the branches.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Metaphorically, all right. So basically, though, it's based on your own experience. So you're going up, like you're climbing from the base of that tree. You're going up, but it's reaching out to different areas.
But one thing I do have to say on this one, and I think it's a good example. You said you were raised as a Baptist, which is very interesting because I was raised as a Catholic.
Yeah.
And I don't know which is worse according to some people. You're supposed to laugh. But I think you get that foundation in a religion thing because it is based on others' experience. You are being taught by these people. For example, using the whole Jesus thing. The Sermon on the Mount.
Yeah.
Think about that. That is a good, solid foundation to build on. Not necessarily to live as totally within your life. So it becomes like that's it right here. These are the walls, forget it. But in the spiritual aspect, you look at it, but you expand on it.
Yeah. That's right where the tree comes in play.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
I
think too many young people who say, "Oh, I'm spiritual," like what are your morals and ethics and that sort of a thing, and they don't really have any.
No.
I mean, they're not bad people. Don't misunderstand me. But because they don't have anything to build on, they're like fish out of water.
And it's a great example like that. Yeah, the reason is because you're taught what your parents want you to believe.
Right.
You do not have the experience yourself.
And the thing is, people who are brought up in certain religions, various religions, you say, come to my church. I think you might find it interesting. Oh no, I can't do that.
Yeah.
A spiritual person said, let me go. Okay, I'd like to see what the experience is. And one of the examples that I can use is from my own personal background is, have you ever been to a tent revival?
Personally, I have not.
I have. It is an experience. Different experience, but it isn't, and I did experience it. And now I can use that to further my own spirituality.
Yeah. That's like...
It was different. Very different.
Yeah. That's like
I got caught up into it. I truly did.
Yeah.
It's easy too in something like that.
Yeah. Well, since I just lost my father, he kept on going to church. Right? But I said to him, no, I have to leave the church for a while. And he said, why? I said, because I have to learn my own experience. I have to learn my own way of the road. Yes, I have gone down the wrong path. But it's sort of like that tree, I'm being pulled back to the trunk. To keep on going the right path, going on forward.
But is it a wrong path? If you're talking from a spiritual standpoint, it's adding to your experiences to open to wider acceptance of what the universe offers.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Thank you for taking the words out of my mouth.
Sorry.
Well, we know each other too well, so that's the whole thing. But yeah, no, usually whenever you go down a wrong path of life, people say that there's a wall. But you have to look at it, though. How are you going to get around that wall? Are you going to climb over it? Are you going to go to the right side? Are you going to go to the left? Or are you going to go underneath that wall?
You know what is going through my mind?
What, Looney Tunes?
Just about. All in all, it's just another brick in the wall.
Yes, yes. That was a good song. That was a good song from Pink Floyd. Yes.
It's called The Wall, isn't it?
Yeah, it's called The Wall. Yeah. It's like, yeah, no, right when I was just saying about that, the first thing I thought that was Looney Tunes about Wile E. Coyote chasing actually the Roadrunner.
Yes.
So it's like, but yeah, there is so much actually within spirituality. Hopefully that what we're going to be talking about today is going to help you out with on the journey of life. Again, though, is you have to look at your life the way that it's going, though, and finding out what's going to help you out with exactly. Are you living within religion way? Are you living within the spiritual way? We're going to look actually at 6 different differences between religion and spiritual. We're going to look a little bit more about this. I'm going to let Gypsy Lady sort of read about stuff, but I'm also going to throw some comments actually within after when she sort of reads about it. But if she wants to start off, go right ahead.
Okay, give me just a second here.
So,
this is from, excuse me, Deepak Chopra. I think I'm saying it right. Religion is belief in someone else's experiencing, like we said before. Spirituality is having your own experiences. When you're talking to people you're telling people that you are spiritual but not religious, and you're often greeted by this, huh? Or ooh. And because people tend to think of spirituality as something like the Shangri-La, I call it the Shangri-La experience, that ooh, ah. And it's really not like that, because religion, how can I say this? Religion gives you all these rules and regulations, and you can follow them or not. Like I mentioned earlier, the whole thing, I'm Jewish, so I don't eat pork because it's this and this and this and this. And that's fine and dandy, but let's look beyond that. What brings you closer to God? And spirituality, I think, is more of a natural thing, because it's who you are and how the universe defines you, or you define the universe, I should say. And like I say, it's more, or like we said, it's more within the self of who and what we are than the religious, which is on the outside, and you can't get past that. So the first thing is, there are no real rules in spirituality as opposed to a specific ideology. And it encourages to listen to your intuition, to do what's right for yourself and others around you. And it does set you free to be the best you can be and be a good person, with no promise of punishment or reward, because the reward is your own happiness that comes from doing that, helping other people. As I was reading that, I keep thinking about the ragged man who comes into a church,
yeah,
and they chase him out, and then they find out, oh, that was Jesus, and they all try to run and find him, and of course he's gone because he was not accepted there.
Well, I love that story, especially at Christmas time right now.
Okay.
Right, and I actually heard a story like what you're explaining, though. Now the church. Now what I actually heard, though, and sorry for interrupting.
That's okay.
But the story, though, is though that the people from the church were being told, though, that they were going to be visited by the Holy Spirit. They kept on asking when about so they're going to be visited, and he didn't give a time. So the first one, though, was actually a little child. A little child came along to the door and knocked on the door, and they let him in. They fed him, they clothed him, and let him go because he had to go away. The next one, though, was actually a poor man, sort of like ragged man, what you were saying about. They wouldn't let the ragged man actually come into the church at all. They said, nope, sorry, but nope, you have to be a certain style, you have to be a certain way, and everything else. So the ragged man walks away. The next thing though was actually a ragged woman, like a really really old woman. They let this woman in, but they said you have to sit in the back of the church. You cannot come forward. So what happened was the lady got up and walked away. The people in the church turned around and said, Lord, you said that you were going to be here 3 times. Lord turned around and said, yes, yes, I was there 3 times. But we didn't see you. We didn't see exactly what you looked like. The Lord turned around and said, I was actually there as a little child. You welcomed me, you fed me, and you let me go. The second time was actually, I was there as a ragged man. The ragged man, though, you did not let into the church. You did not do anything. The third one that I was there actually as an older woman, ragged style clothing. But you told me to sit in the back. What had happened though is the people of the church then realized what you were saying, Gypsy Lady Eva. Do not judge others as you will be judged yourself. So, I remember that story 100%.
Yes.
It's like but yes. So that's sort of to do with religion and also with spiritual. Spiritual accept people. I love the 6 of them all together. The next one though that we're looking at though is spiritual based only on love and not fear. I'm gonna throw this one over to you.
I'm scared. Well, let's face it, when religion says, if you don't behave, you are going to go to hell. Sorry, I couldn't resist that. But how many times in the course of the way the religion is taught, they use fear?
Yeah.
If you don't behave, you'll go to hell. If you don't listen to your elders, if you don't kill someone.
Not literally, but like verbally.
I'm just going through the commandments here.
Yeah.
If you don't live by the commandments, you will go to hell. If you don't do this, you will go to hell. We will shun you out of the church if you do this. They use this whole fear thing, whereas in spirituality, it doesn't do that. It says there is love, and you focus all your energies. It kind of encourages you to focus your energies on only the good and to act, basically out of love. And this is one of the key points, because fear is not going to do you that much good. You're just going to sit there and, well, I can't do this, I can't do this. I don't know what to do. And with the spirituality, you let that child in and take care of it. You welcome the beggar man and feed him, wash his wounds so that he is healthy again. You welcome the elder woman because she holds so much wisdom with her. I mean, you don't look at the ragged clothes. You don't look at, you work and you take care of these people.
Yeah.
And it makes you a stronger person, and it makes you open to more of helping and extending yourself to these, so that you don't do it out of, well, if I do this, I'll go to heaven. If I don't do this, I'll go to hell. Or if I do that, I will go to hell, but I won't go to heaven, that sort of thing. That's not the way it should be. It should be more of a, I'm going to help you, I don't care type thing. And you just do it. And you don't have all these little things that tell you you can and you can't. Like I say, you can and you can't, you will and you won't. Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
So true, so true. It's like all right, so the next one, though, I'm pretty sure that we're going to be looking at, though, is religion tells you to trust.
No, the truth.
Go right ahead.
I'm sorry. I was reading it, and you said trust. Trust is another one, but
Yeah, yeah. Well, religion.
religion just tells you the truth. Spirituality lets you discover it because truth, it doesn't really tell you in here, but truth wears many clothes or wears many disguises. And what religions will tell you is this is the truth. Well, if you are a Christian, okay, that's the truth for the Christians, but you go to the Hindus, that's a whole different ball game. So which one is right?
Yeah.
But if you put the rules aside, so to speak, and just read what the Hindu religion says, what the Shinto religion says, Sauli says, you learn that there is a truth in all of them. And the one that I always use as the best example is in Christianity. It says, I believe in Matthew or Mark, one of those two. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you look around the world and you look at all the different religions, and what does it say? Love one another and love them as yourself.
Yeah.
Which goes right back to it's within you, and you have to let it go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's so true. It's so true. Even with actually spiritual lets you actually discover it.
Yes.
I love that though because it's so true. You might sort of like my past life, not past life, but in my past, I've gone down the wrong road, but nowadays I'm going down the right road. Right, it's let me experience stuff actually with inside that, but it's actually helped me out in the right way. One great example though is I'm a former drag queen. I'm a former performer, like female impersonator. I used to get criticized quite a bit from the head drag queen. I do have to say thank you very much, Miss Drew / Brad, for doing this to me, because I would not be right where I am nowadays with my own life. And I even said that before I resigned from being a drag queen, because that made me a stronger person. Most people look actually at things in the negative way. If somebody's criticizing, try to take that negative and reverse it into positivity. That's going to help you within your own life, especially again it lets you discover it, right? You got to find your own self. It's like a kid going through the candy store. Great example. Gypsy lady
okay.
even just perked up on that.
Well, I was thinking, you said candy store. I'm not a big fan of Snickers. Ugh.
So.
But you are.
Yeah.
Big deal. It's candy.
Yeah.
But it's a good example because how many people like Snickers and how many people like Three Musketeers or Reese's Cups? Oh. And personal taste, but you found the candy that gives you nirvana. I guess you could say it that way.
Not the group Nirvana.
Pardon?
You said Nirvana. I'm like, not the group Nirvana.
No, not the group Nirvana.
That's like
there's another example too. I mean, you can use all kinds of examples like that.
Yeah.
And I like the next one because it says religion separates and spirituality unites. And that kind of goes back to all the stuff that we talked about before by saying, oh, we don't want you in here because you don't do this, or you're not willing to do that, or you break the rules too much. Like, what are the rules? You didn't tell me.
Yeah.
But spirituality just says, okay, that's just a different way to do it. You pray outside, totally nude at midnight, and even though that's where you find that spirituality that best fits you, to me, I like to be under the covers, nice and warm, with my warm jammies on, and my cat next to me, and boy, I can make a connection to the universe like that.
Yeah. Well, another great example though is people go to church, they go to mosque, they go to one building, right? but
They what?
they go to one building.
Oh, yes,
But the
yes,
thing though is with us spiritual people, we can do it anywhere at any time.
yes.
If
And,
you
go ahead. I'm sorry.
if you see somebody doing yoga, that's actually connecting with the spiritual side. If you see somebody just there, that looks like they'll let their sleep. Who knows? They might not be asleep. They might be meditating.
And like my one teacher always said, especially when we were having a class and somebody fell asleep, well, he needed it.
So,
He
yeah,
needed it.
yeah,
And the thing is, it just came to me, or was pointed out to me, however you want to put it. Uh, you think of spirituality as kind of the one person thing, but when you sit in a circle, which is a very popular way that spiritual type people worship, I put air quotes on that.
yeah,
Uh, by using those energies, it really helps. And you start to meditate within these circles, and boy, sometimes stuff is given out, and it's like, whoa, where did that come from?
yeah. Well, sorry. I love those, especially doing energy circle, right? And the way I do that with large groups, though, is people are standing, they're holding hands. But it's kind of like metaphor that you're passing a beach ball around, but you pass around faster and faster. And to see what people are experiencing with that compared to doing with religion. Religion, though, you're usually sitting down or standing in one spot. You might be doing that with the spiritual side, but the thing, though, is you get a different reaction within the spiritual side. You get people rocking back and forth. Go ahead.
Well, there's one thing that I've pointed this out to people, and they're like, "Oh, I never thought of that." Are you familiar with the rosary?
Yes.
Okay, for those who aren't, it is a Catholic thing, although rosaries appear in other religions in different forms. But basically, it's the same prayers over and over and over with little breaks in between. And usually, you can say it by yourself, but many times it is said as a group. Okay? Like, there is devotions to the rosary, and they will say it. The thing is, and I've experienced this different times, you start with the one prayer, and you say this other prayer, and then you say it 10 times, and the energy that comes from that is fantastic if you open to it. And they're not even aware of it. They are aware of the fact that it is lifting them up, but they don't put that spiritual aspect to it in the sense of a spirituality. There is a spiritness to it, but it's because it's not the same thing. Let me put it that way, but it is. Does that make any sense?
It does. Whenever you're doing that, you're actually going into meditation.
Yes, you are.
But a lot of people don't realize, though, that you're doing full meditation, which is actually a spiritual way. Some people get things confused. But you really, right when you're going into meditation, you're doing it a spiritual way. You're cleansing your whole body over and over and over. Right? I love the next one, though. The difference between karma and punishment. It's dead silence. Yeah. It's dead silence. Go ahead.
No, I was just thinking karma is as karma does. And I've heard a lot of people say karma's a mean bitch. And I don't agree with that. Karma is this sweet little old lady who welcomes you to tea, and she puts the tea on the table and then seasons it with the same poison that you give everyone else.
Yeah. It's like
think about it.
Yeah.
But punishment, spirituality does talk about the karmic thing.
The karma.
With karma.
Yeah.
And the laws of attraction. But when you think about it, karma does give you, air quotes again, punishment. Not in the same way as religion does with the threat of hell and damnation and you'll be cut off and all. It's just, no, karma uses it as to teach you a lesson. And sometimes it can be a very drastic, very life changing. I keep thinking about, I read this some time ago. There's a guy who was not a nice person. And he did something and he wound up losing a leg because of it. And it was karmic karma coming back.
Yeah.
And he knew it. And that's when his life changed. But it's something to think about. I think in even in the laws, I disagree with this because I believe that even in spirituality, there are, and again, air quotes, punishment. But it's not in the same way. Punishment comes as a lesson. Okay, sometimes it's very drastic. Other times it's rather subtle. And you almost miss it, and then you realize, okay, I get it now. And I don't know if that makes any sense, but spirituality allows you to disagree without
consequences. So yes, yeah. For me though, karma. Right when I just read though about the karma, I was thinking like people watch this on YouTube quite a bit. It's about reckless drivers. Somebody's going down the street and they're actually giving the finger and all this and that, and the very next second, something happens to them. It's karma throwing it back actually in their own face. Compared to punishment. Punishment, though, is usually what our parents have always done to us right when we were kids.
And I had plenty of that.
Same here. But the thing, though, is...
Actually, our punishment was we had to go out in the garden and weed it.
Yeah, no, so for...
Anything but that. And believe me, you behaved a lot better.
Yeah. So punishment, though, is sort of like parents actually disciplining you. But the thing, though, is you learn from that.
Yes.
Which is what you were saying.
Yes.
So it's always best off to learn and learn and learn. Instead of doing something and right away things coming back to you 3 times harder.
Uh-huh.
It's like, gosh. I love the last one, though. I'm gonna get you to read the top paragraph, though. And this is a altogether walking on your own path.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to read the paragraph.
Well, instead of ancient stories and myths, I don't want to use myths. That offends. Instead of ancient stories about angels and God, spirituality encourages you to take your own path and create your own stories. And it sets you on a journey of enlightenment and self-discovery. And the only limits that are set are the ones set by yourself. It encourages you to trust your inner self because that's where God is and He is helping you, He, she, it. And to follow it wherever it may lead you.
Yeah. And that right there, I have to totally agree 100%. Yeah, my father has passed away. But the thing, though, is I've gone to most locations that my father has lived. Except for California, geographic-wise. Right? I've wanted to know, basically all my life, though, is what my father has done. But I learned for myself that it's myself that has to follow my own path.
Agreed. Don't get me started.
So, trying to hold it back. It's like ours. Like one dream I can recall though, just recently. All right, my father used to be a pilot, and the dream though is though that I was actually in the pilot seat. I was directing. I was trying to fly this plane, but my father turned around to me and said, "You've got it. You know exactly what to do." So that there is sort of to do with walking your own path. So
I
it's like always. This
give
one
me a
is
second.
this one is always hard for us spiritual people.
Uh, it is and it isn't. When you lose someone and that you have made that connection with, you feel like a part of you was cut off and taken away. And as you had that dream, I have had dreams with my father in it and within them. And it's always one of the things that always pops up in these dreams is at the end of the dream or towards the end of the dream or just before I wake up, however it happens, he says, well, I have to leave now. And I always say, Dad, take me with you. And he says, not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah.
And it's like,
so, yeah.
and
So, but that there, I know that's exactly how my dream ended with my father, right? But again, though, is we are here. When I say Turtle Island, but we're here actually on planet Earth. We have to walk our own path. We have to learn our own experiences. Do not get people to judge you because of who you are. Do not judge yourself because of who you are.
there is a song by, I believe it's Mama Cass. Make your own kind of music.
Yeah.
Go listen to that. That speaks of spirituality in a really wonderful way. But the thing is, as you read that last paragraph, if you look at religion, it does stem from a deep spirituality. Jesus, Moses, Muhammad, name whatever, Buddha, they all started with a very profound sense of spirituality. And they embarked on their journeys to the greater spiritual light, if you want to put it that way. And the thing is, because all these other people started putting restrictions, and I don't want to say restrictions, but started putting whatever you want to call it, that, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. And because of that, it becomes very staid. You can't do that with spirituality. You have to be open to everything, or open to the things that resonate with you, within you. And all religions has truth in it, but you got to rip away all those
fences around.
boundaries. Yes. And you can be religious and spiritual at the same time. I don't think it should be spirituality, versus religion, or religion versus spiritual. I think you can work the two within, but you have to be willing to step outside the box, so to speak. And I think a lot of people don't really do that.
Yeah. So for hopefully, sorry for cutting you off.
I was just going to say, and spirituality reminds us that we are not separate. There are no borders, no races, no cultural divides. There's nothing that spirituality does that. And if we remember that, we can step out of that box. We don't have to stay in it.
Yeah. And the last thing, though, is what I would say, though, is if people are judging you because of what you do, or if you're judging yourself because of what you do, take a good look actually at yourself, both spiritual and kind of religion, but mostly spiritual, and you'll find yourself right where you are in life. There are people that actually have bad negative around them. They're bringing it forward to other people. but you have to learn. And I love the saying, those walk away. You'll find yourself at peace. So from us to you guys, we hopefully help you guys actually understand more about spiritual and religion all together with the footnotes so that we sort of went over in a better way. We do say thanks a lot for taking part in today's show. For myself, Brother Chris, and Gypsy Lady Eva, may the light go forward. We'll talk to you guys later.
As my spiritual guide always says, travel in the light.
Yeah. See you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey everyone, check out the merchandise that we have now listed underneath HauntedLinePodcast.com. We used to be on Etsy, but we found a little bit of troubles with that, so we are now on HauntedLinePodcast.com with our merch store. Check it out. We've got so much items all together with cleansing items and crystals and so much more. Check us out, HauntedLinePodcast.com.